friends, welcome to Life Class with Ayum. This is my Pain Your Game Ministries, and this is that place where we learn those practical things that can bring comfort and progress to our life. So I'm so excited you have joined me today. This month, I'm going to be speaking on the topic, making a difference. Making a difference. At the beginning of this year, precisely in January, I did a teaching on Make This Year Count. And in that teaching, I was letting us know why we would need to take some intentional steps to make this year count in our life. And I was also letting us know that we need to make sure that this year makes a difference in our own life. And if you've not watched that teaching, I want to encourage you to visit our YouTube channel or our Facebook page, My Pain Your Game Ministry, so that you can watch it, because I believe it's going to be a tremendous blessing to you. And while you are there, I want you to make sure that you also subscribe to our YouTube channel if you've not already done so, and like our Facebook page. And when you subscribe on YouTube, make sure that you turn on the notification button, which has the sign of a bell. Just press it to turn it on, so that anytime we upload a new video, you will be notified. Okay, so coming back to what I'm talking about today, which is making a difference. Making a difference. When I was telling us at the beginning of this year that we should make this year count, little did I know that this year was going to count in our lives anyhow, whether we make intentional efforts or not. Because the events of this year definitely will be much remembered many years to come, because the pandemic, they came, and the effect it has had on people, the lockdown, the countries shutting their borders to international travels and even local travels, because I know that even in some countries, states were even shutting their borders to one another. So this year a lot has happened in this year that there is no way we are going to forget the year 2020. But my question to you is that, how is this year going to count personally in your own life? Apart from the pandemic and the effect it has had, apart from numerous other issues, maybe like police brutality and protests and people that have died, how is this year counting in your own life? And those were the challenges I told us to take in the teaching I did in January, that we should make sure that this year counts in our life, to make sure that we are growing mentally, spiritually, financially, and in every area of your life. And I can hear somebody smiling and saying, talking about growing financially, a lot has happened in this year. I've lost my job, I've lost my source of income, my business have crumbled. So how will you now say, tell me to grow financially? But I just want to let you know that all that matters is that you are taking intentional effort. Yes, I empathize with you if you have lost anything in the course of this year. And I know that almost everybody have lost one thing or the other. Some people have lost loved ones, some people have lost jobs, some people have lost their health. So I know that people have lost something that is very precious to them. But in making this year count, what that means is that you are not going to let whatever you have lost to stop you. So you are still going to continue to make intentional efforts to keep moving on. But talking about making a difference, I want us to dwell more on the difference you can make in the life of other people. Yes, if you want to know how to make this year count in your own life, go back and watch my video in January on making this year count. But if you want to make this year count in terms of making a difference in people's life, then just continue to watch with me, because I want to let you know that every one of us can make a difference. Every one of us can make a difference. Many times when we think of making a difference, we think that we need to be super intelligent, we need to be very wealthy, we need to have more than enough, we need to have a lot of people skills, we need to be maybe a very outgoing person before we can make a difference. But the good news is that you don't have to be all of that. No matter who you are, no matter what you have, no matter where you are right now, you can make a difference. I want you to stay with me. I'm going to take a short break. And when I come back, I'm going to tell you a very interesting story that made a difference in somebody's life. So I'll be back after this break.
Are you going through a traumatic experience? Does all hope seem lost? Are you wondering if you'll ever smile again? Then these books are for you. He Gave Me Comfort by A.M. Ejiga and Through the Storm by A.M. Ejiga. These books are available in both paperback and Kindle version on Amazon.com and Amazon.co.uk. Also available in electronic version on AcadaBooks.com. So take heart, because these books will restore your hope, and yes, you will smile again.
So welcome back. I was talking about making a difference in people's life. And I want to just let you know that to make a difference in somebody's life, all you need to do is just to propose in your heart that what can I do to make somebody smile? What can I do to lessen somebody's burden? What can I do to just make a little contribution to somebody's life? What can I do to make somebody grow? And if you begin to ask yourself these questions and begin to take some intentional steps, I can tell you that a little action can make a huge difference in somebody's life. A little action can make a huge difference in somebody's life. I heard the story of little Annie that was told by Zig Ziglar. And the story had made a huge impression in my life because it made me to realize how little effort can make a huge difference. Little Annie was only about 5 years old when she became partially blind as a result of an eye disease. And then at the age of 8, she lost her mom. And 2 years later, her dad abandoned her and her only brother. And after a few years, because the brother had some health challenges, he also passed. And little Annie developed mental illness. And she was taken to a mental hospital just outside Boston in the US. But her situation was very bad, and she was very wild, and she would attack people that come in to attend to her. So because of the way her situation was, the doctors considered her case as hopeless, and they put her in the basement of the mental institution. The situation then was that depending on how severe your case was, it would determine on which level of the building that you stayed, because it was a multi-story building, and the people that were in the basement, the lowest level, were those who had very severe cases. So because of little Annie's case, which was very severe and considered hopeless, she was put in the basement. But there was a retired nurse who never gave up on little Annie. She felt that no creature of God should be considered as hopeless. So what this nurse did was that every Thursday, she would bake some brownies, and she would go and sit outside the cage of little Annie and be eating the brownies. And when she would leave some brownies behind for little Annie. And the first time she started visiting, little Annie would completely ignore her and just behave as if nobody was there. And she kept at it. But she noticed that after a couple of visits, when she left the brownies behind, she now noticed that the brownies were no longer there. I presume that the first instance, when she left the brownie behind, when she comes back, she'll meet her brownies. But this time around, after she was leaving the brownies behind and coming back, she found that the brownies were no longer there. And that means little Annie was now taking the brownies. And she continued. And after a while, the doctors noticed a great improvement in little Annie. And then they moved her maybe to the next floor, and her condition kept getting better because this retired nurse kept visiting her and showing her the love of God. And after a while, little Annie became well. And then when they wanted to discharge her from the mental home, but she said no, she didn't want to be discharged because she wanted to stay around there to help other people as well, to bring hope to other people, to show people that little action can make a huge difference. Many years later, just fast forwarding now, the Queen of England wanted to pin the highest award on a foreigner. This foreigner was Helen Keller. I don't know how many of you have heard of Helen Keller before, but you can Google her. Helen Keller was somebody that that became blind and deaf at a very early age. Consider being blind and deaf. You know, when you are blind, people can say things and you can hear. And when you are deaf, people can make signs and you'll be able to communicate with them. But imagine being blind and deaf. How do you communicate with such people? But when the Queen of England wanted to pin this award on Helen Keller gave her speech to receive the award. And guess what she said? She said there would have been Helen Keller would not have been known if not for Anne Sullivan. And guess what? Anne Sullivan happened to be little Annie that the retired nurse showed some love and she became mentally well. So it was Anne Sullivan that helped Helen Keller to be able to communicate, to be able to read and write, to be able to express herself. And Helen Keller was said to have spoken and understood 5 languages. I still baffle at how that was done. Somebody that was blind and deaf. And that is what making a difference is all about. You found that it started from just a retired nurse. She didn't have much energy. She didn't have much. All she was taking to little Annie was just brownies. All she was doing for little Annie was just a little time, maybe created like 30 minutes, 1 hour every week, not even every day, to visit little Annie. And that made a huge difference in little Annie. And little Annie in turn made a huge difference in Helen Keller, who became world known. So I want to tell you, there is no action that is too small. Yes, I know we are living in a time that people don't have enough. You don't have enough for yourself, but you can do something. And next week, I'm going to be telling you a few little actions that you can take to make a difference in other people's life. So thank you for joining me. And before I go, I'm going to leave us with a quote. This quote is by Mother Teresa. And she said, "We can do no great things, only small things with great love." We can do no great things, only small things with great love. And actually, that is what makes a difference in people's life. It doesn't matter how great your action may be, but if it is not done with love, it's not going to make much difference in anybody's life. But when you do small things with great love, it makes a difference in people's life. So as you go into this week, purpose to make a difference in somebody's life by just doing one small thing. So once again, thank you for joining me, and this is my Pain Your Game Ministries. Before I go, I want to remind you of the life class discussion which I hold the last Saturday of every month. So this month on the 28th of November, I'm going to be having a live class discussion with a special guest, and I believe you don't want to miss it. So mark your calendar, 1 p.m. UK time. I'll be bringing a special guest here that will be discussing making a difference in people's life. And I believe you are going to be tremendously blessed. And if you also want to be part of that discussion to tell people how they can make a difference in other people's life, or how you have made a difference and you want to share your story, join us and you have the opportunity to do so. So till I see you again next week, God bless you.